you do teaching as well. You're
Yeah.
the Musicians Institute, or are you so? Okay.
Yeah. So that came together a few months ago. They just recently kind of decided that we were going to try to launch the program. So for Musicians Institute, for those that don't know, uh, kind of like a rock school. Basically, it's been around, I think, since the '70s, but mainly, vocalist, guitar, bass, keyboard, drums, that kind of vibe. But for a few years now, because I remember I'd kind of gotten sounded about it a few years ago. My friend Ron Jubla was putting it together, and they're real adamant about starting a horn program. And so basically, probably like last year, I started writing the trumpet curriculum, and the full idea was to launch. Um, God, I guess it would have been in the summer, last summer. I forget. It's all a blur now. Anyways, because of the lockdown and not having kids on campus, we decided to postpone. So the program will launch, um, as far as the horn program, when we can all get back on campus. So, we're hopefully fall. We kind of see what happens. But it's pretty cool. Like for me, Ron was like, I want it's a school where musicians can come and learn how to get into the scene. And so it's going to definitely air more on the side of commercial music, pop, rock, getting into that scene. Obviously, we're going to focus on, Latin music and classical too, like all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that we're going to push there is like showing you how to work and not just like audition based. So much of the work in LA and around the world too is just not auditions, like word of mouth and just knowing people and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. So we're really going to kind of treat it like that. I mean, obviously, I would say if someone's like a hardcore orchestral trumpet player, yeah, this is definitely not the school to come to. Like
Right.
you know where to go to. But this is like how to get involved in that scene of the rock band that has a horn section. That's and Ron, he plays. He was Ricky Martin's guy during the La Vida Loca years, and now he plays with Joe Bonamassa. But he's also one of the heads of the entire school. So he's just a wealth of knowledge of like how to work and how to always have gigs. And he always tells younger players, he's like, go after the gigs that no one else is doing. Don't feel that you have to go play in a big band or you have to go play in an orchestra. He's like, find the ones that no one's going after,
Yeah.
and for like rock and roll sax, like he's the dude and he kills it. And and it really opened up my eyes too to a lot of stuff, and kind of another great example, one of those guys that, don't call him for a bar gig. He's not going to do it.
Right.
It's like he's at that other level.
Right.
So yeah, so that's kind of what we're going to try to do with that school, and so instead of learning, you know, not that we shouldn't learn this stuff, but like some of the trumpet concertos you might need to learn, freshman year, it's like, all right, dude, like we're learning September, we're learning Earth, Wind and Fire, all the Michael Jackson stuff. Like this, if you want to work, you need to know this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way we're going to go about it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
so
like,
yeah, so
yeah, that's cool. So it's more like a pragmatic approach to
yeah. I mean, and
for a
that's,
freshman.
when they hired me, and then we actually brought in also Mark Pender is going to be on staff. So Mark
Oh,
was
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mark, obviously with Conan O'Brien for all those years, and then Javier Gonzalez, and Javier does
Mhm.
Dancing with the Stars. So the three of us have definitely thrown around ideas of like, thinking outside the box. Because I remember for me as like a young player when I was going to college, like, I mean, again, outside of my private teachers, there was never ever any talk about how to get gigs and like what I should be doing. It was kind of like band practice is Tuesday, like okay,
Yeah.
but it was never someone sat down and be like, all right, man, like this is what you need to do. This is and it's so I'm trying to bring that experience of what I learned to that program, because still to this day, I, obviously I know as well, like of networking and all that kind of stuff. Still to this day, some of the guys that hire me the most that are dudes that I grew up with,
Yeah.
guys that turned into producers that, took their career went off, or composers that are, getting really busy. And so it's that networking thing. I mean, because there's plenty of other trumpet players they could call that'll do a great job, that probably play better than I do, but it's that relationship over the years that they know what's going on, and a lot of times when we're younger, we don't get that all the time.
Yeah.
It's just kind of block mentality.